For the first time in my life, I couldn't give basketball 100%. That's what's throwing me off. I can't give my baby like 100%. I can't give basketball 100%. And that's what was breaking my heart.
Hello, I'm Kelley O'Hara, and this is 1v1 presented by RBC Wealth Management. Today, I'm joined by three-time WNBA MVP, two-time WNBA champion, four-time Olympic gold medalist, Hall of Famer, and my friend and co-host, Lisa Leslie.
Let's go.
What's up, girl?
You're missing some stats on mine, but
I
it's
know,
all good.
but we had to keep it, we had to cut it
Top
down.
it down.
Well, listen, we're here on the set of Fast Friends.
Yes.
But I'm interviewing you,
Okay.
today, because I got questions for you.
Okay.
This series is about retirement, because I am obviously going through it. You know very well that I'm going through it.
Yes.
So I wanted to have these chats with athletes that have gone through it and have the perspective and the time to have looked back and understand and kind of just give me your insight on like what it was like and anything you learned or would have done differently or just think is important to know. So one, I appreciate you being here today.
Yeah, thank you.
And I've been looking forward to this because I feel like we have so much fun on Fast Friends, but I was like, I need to pick her brain on this time in life.
Okay,
So
fire away.
the first question, when you started playing professionally, was retirement anything that crossed your mind? Like, did you have
Never.
any timeline?
You mean when you were playing?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I think I think the main thing when you're playing is you just want to be healthy, right? Like, I always felt like you have to play like as if it's your last game. It's very cliche, but it's kind of true because you've seen players around you go down with some major injuries. And so my thing was really focused on like health and wellness always. Like I would go to get physical therapy as if I had torn something.
Yeah, had been injured.
So, yeah.
Even if you were healthy.
I would do the biodex, which is well before your time. But this machine where they'd strap you in and you'd like kick really hard as if you tore your ACL.
Yeah.
Because I never understood why athletes waited to get hurt to then train in those ways, right?
Rehab, yeah.
So I would do rehab as if I was injured all season, all off season, 2 or 3 days a week. I would really go over to what was called Carolyn Joe, which is an amazing facility for all of the hurt athletes. All the Lakers and hockey players from the Kings would train there after they were hurt. So they allowed me to come.
So would you say that your career was pretty injury-free?
Oh, 100%.
That's amazing.
Yeah, my
Because of
nickname
what
is
you-
Bulletproof in terms of playing, but I trained hard. I lifted weights all the time. I used to do swimming against the current, which is really great for your joints. I took ice baths very consistently, and I ice literally after every game since I think I was in college for sure.
What taught you or gave you the insight to do that during your career?
Looking at people get injured really scared me. I think they were talking about like statistically, like so many women, especially in basketball. I think I hear that a lot about soccer too, but ACL injuries are like, women are really prone for it. I don't know if it's like connected to that time of month or what, all of these different sayings that used to sort of circle around women and ACL injuries where it was like with the men, you don't see that as often. And so I wanted to do things that were very preventative. I'm like, why wait?
Yeah.
What are they doing when they're hurt? And it's a lot of isolation, leg extension, step ups, like things that I'm like, well, I could do those exercises before. So when I hired my trainer, shout out to Adam Freeman, who was an amazing trainer. I really talked to him about being preventative and being proactive about, I wanted to take care of my body in a way that it could be injury proof.
I love that. Smart.
Yeah.
I was probably the opposite, unfortunately. And that's not because I wasn't doing the things, but sometimes that's just the way
it's a lot. It's a lot
it
of
is.
wear and
Soccer,
tear.
it's crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
professional sports and professional athletes in general, I don't think what they're asked to do is like the healthiest or best for your body. Like it's in my opinion, you put yourself at risk for a lot of things, but that's just the reality of the playing
we
field.
push past a lot.
Exactly. So never thought about it when you're starting out. At what point did retirement cross your mind?
I think retirement crossed my mind when my coach, I mean, if I'm being really honest, I felt like my coach kind of changed up how he was coaching us.
Okay.
And I didn't really like it. I felt like he got a little soft on his discipline and his rules. I noticed that I started to really remember turnovers. Like, for example, our team would, I'd rebound outletted. By the time I get down the court, it was a turnover. We'd go back. And then we'd do something on defense, and then, you outlet it and come down again, and it's a turnover. And after a while, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to stay down here on defense because we keep turning the ball over.
Yeah.
And that was like the first time I remember being conscious of, when you're young, you just turn it over and go back. You just turn it over. You don't really process it. But as you become a veteran of the team, it's like, hey, we just had 2 turnovers. Like, slow it down. Let's set up a play. Mm-hmm. And I remembered getting frustrated with the younger players that were just moving fast, turning the ball over 2 and 3, 4 times. And I'm like, you know what?
I'm too old for this.
Yeah. I'm serious. I started to feel like this is getting old. Like, I'm conscious of these turnovers in a way that I'd never been before my whole career playing basketball. And that was something that struck me, where I was frustrated about that. And then I think the third thing, I asked my coach, Michael Cooper, at the time, I was like, Coach, Coop, how did you know when you were ready to retire? And he said, Smooth, you'll know. Mm-hmm. Like, you'll know. Your body tells you, and you'll know. And I was like, that's interesting, because I feel like for the first time, I'm thinking about retirement.
It's just, it showed up in your mind where it had never before.
Had never before. And that's where I was like, I think I'm tired of this.
I'm tired of this. So what season was that? Because you played 97.
I played 97. Then I got pregnant with my daughter in 2000, the end of the season, 2006. Okay. So I had to make this huge announcement that I was going to miss the 2007 season, which was like, I think that was probably one of the hardest things I had to do, because I know how much, like, LA, the Sparks, I had been there. I'm their captain. I'm the leader. I stay in off season. I'm working hard. Like, I was everything, I think, to the organization, but in the same thing, the organization was everything to me.
Makes sense.
I was married to the game, and I was very reliable and consistent. And so for me to, get pregnant, it's almost like, when is the right time to have a child?
Yeah.
And in some ways, being a professional athlete, you almost feel like never is the right time. And that's not really fair. So, I had to talk it over with my husband. It's like, the timing is now, so it's the right time. But I had to do a press conference, which was super awkward, and like, okay, well, I just wanted to announce that I'm pregnant.
It's funny.
I'm missing the season.
Yeah, I feel like, just hearing you speak about it, I think that a lot of athletes, and just in general, I feel like there's this stigma around athletes getting pregnant, and that they're not, by doing that, they're not dedicated to the game. It's
totally.
Like, what? You're just doing a very normal...
What are you doing having sex? No, I don't know.
No, for sure. But like, it's like, I have a lot of respect for you for choosing to have a child while playing, because I think that a lot of female athletes choose not to, because of everything that comes with it, right?
Totally.
Whether it's the judgment and or also the comeback too.
Absolutely. You definitely, it's a huge choice, but it's possible. I'm glad I did.
100%.
I totally came back. I trained. So the last MVP award I won, I think, was 2006.
Okay.
So I was pregnant then when I won the MVP in 2006. Lauren's born in 2007, June. So it kind of was like the end of that season, right? And then, I came back. I trained hard. I played in another Olympics. I played 2 more WNBA seasons. And 2008, I knew I was ready to retire, and I stayed 1 more season to be sure, because I didn't want to be the athlete who retired and then came back. And that was in my head. After you retire, it's like, be sure.
You didn't want to pull a Michael Jordan.
I did not.
Okay.
But then I was out there, and I was like, I knew I shouldn't have come back. No.
Too many turnovers?
Too many turnovers, bro. Seriously. No, it was a whole culmination of things. But yeah, it was just time. I was pregnant again, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you knew in 2008. We kind of talked about this a couple weeks ago, how you said You knew you wanted to retire.
Yes.
You were ready, but your team convinced you to come back.
Yes.
What did they say?
Well, they were like crying, and it was like smooth, no, it was
like, I can't have these people crying.
I know, and they were like, no, you can do it. You can do it one more year, and I was just like, I haven't made my decision yet, but they helped me. I mean, listen, Candace was my rookie. She came in, she was amazing. I knew she needed a lot from me as a veteran, and we worked very well together. We played well together, and I really wanted to win another championship with her. But I was really at the end. Mm-hmm. Not my ability to play. My last game, I had 20 points and 10 rebounds. Like, it wasn't my ability to play, but the pull of being a mom was really like, my family comes first. And I was just like, this is what it was. I'm so competitive. I did not want someone else knowing my child and raising my child. Like, that to me is like, she didn't ask to be here. I'm her mother. I was nursing her and playing and all of that. And it's just, love just tugs at your heart in a different way. And I was in love with basketball. Like, nothing came before basketball but God himself. Basketball was just like, it's what I did every day. Every day I'm up, I'm 5:30. I mean, I do yoga, I do everything. I play, so this was my schedule. Get up and meet my coach, Michael Cooper, 5:30, 6 o'clock.
This is during season all the time?
During the season, and out of season mostly. Get up, this is my out of season schedule. So I'm at the gym from 6 to probably like 7:30. Kobe comes in, he comes in early, right? I leave, go to my trainer. I train weights, everything, cardio, all the stuff for an hour and a half. Go home, eat, watch Judge Judy, take a nap, go play pickup with the fellas.
Okay.
From 3 to 5 or 3 to 6 or whatever time. So Magic Johnson would allow me to play pickup with him and the NBA guys at UCLA.
Nice.
Shout out to Magic. So I go play pickup with the NBA guys.
Yeah.
And that was kind of my schedule, like, all the time.
This makes a lot of sense to me, you saying this, because you are the most busy bee. You're doing everything all the time. You're all the things. So you've always been this way.
Yeah.
You loved basketball.
Love.
Married to the game.
Every day.
How was your emotion going into making the decision to retire?
The biggest thing for me mentally was I came to the realization for the first time in my life, I couldn't give basketball 100%. That's what's throwing me off. I can't give my baby like 100%. I can't give basketball 100%. And that's what was breaking my heart. So I'm like, I did learn to be present where I am in the moment. And I think I learned that even though you'd heard people say that, it's like you have to compartmentalize and you have to be present. I'm like, I don't know what that means. But having a daughter, and it taught me, to be present in that moment. I think that was, all those little changes that were happening for me was driving me to go, I want to go home. I just want to go be with my baby. And, I have an amazing husband, great support, my mom, my sister, but I want to go home.
You're ready.
Yeah.
Life had changed. Things had changed. Tell me about your last game.
Oh, wow. Let's see. My last game was in Phoenix. We lost. And it was kind of an emotional game because I think Candace may have fouled out first. Or maybe she wasn't having a great game. We'd have to probably look up the stats, but I just remember her crying because they knew it was my last game. And I know she really wanted to win for me. I wanted to win for her. And it was really emotional. And the only reason why I got emotional was because she was crying. Yeah. And then that made me cry. And I just remember, I actually have the picture on my phone of her leaning, I was kind of holding her head. And I was like, it's okay. We did our best. That's my time. You know what I mean? And you're going to win. It's just, we're not going to win together, So that was kind of sad.
Yeah.
I think it's the teammates. I had so many amazing teammates. That's probably the part that probably is the hardest when you think about the time on the bus or the time in the locker room and all the laughs, and we're so silly. And we didn't have social media, so we truly entertained ourselves with dancing. And oh my God, a game that my family played was called Make Me Laugh that I took to probably every team, our USA team. All we did was sit around and one person has to get up and try to make the group laugh. And if you laugh, the next person goes. We played it for hours, every team. So any team who I've been on, shout out to all the players who play Make Me Laugh. I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, no, I get that. I feel like that's something that I'm going to miss the most, is just the time spent in between the games and the practices and
the camaraderie with
the
your
downtime.
teammates, right?
It's special. I feel like you can't. It's probably really hard to replicate. I don't know if you can in any other.
I don't
place.
think so.
And you just kind of touched on being successful. And I think that can look different on and off the field. It absolutely looks different on and off the field. Our sponsor, RBC Wealth Management, encourages people to define what success means to them to help build towards the right goals.
Yes.
So today, in this moment, what does success look like for you?
Success means to me being healthy and having a healthy family. Success to me is having a good portfolio.
a diverse strong portfolio. I love that.
It's good.
It's important.
Yeah, balance.
Yeah.
You have cash, some stock, land. Like I have a great portfolio, which makes me confident because I'm really the first generation that can pass something on to my children. And my husband and I have really worked hard to plan for that, and I love that. And then I think the other thing is, again, feeling like I really don't have a job. I really do what I'm passionate about. I'm very happy. I'm happy that I get to all the phases. Like I'm really happy about that. I get to go play tennis a few days a week. I love that. I love working out.
Success means winning your tennis league.
Success means winning my tennis matches. But I mean, that's a blessing because everybody can't do that. So I realize where I am in terms of what all my hard work and sweat, like how it's paid off. Because I remember my sister used to go, "You look like you don't have any fun." When I was like, I was 16 and I was doing homework, locked in a room doing homework. Then I go to practice and she was like, "Your life is like so boring." And I'm like, actually, I love it. But I sacrificed a lot. Like I missed the parties and the hangout and the barbecues and the 4th of July, I missed a lot. I missed my own high school graduation. I was in Cuba. I was in Florida trying out for a USA team that I got cut from, but I got cut after my high school graduation. Like, bro, you're gonna send me home? And you weren't taking me. So I missed so much. And I think those sacrifice, that's the key word, is the sacrifice. And it's like, I made a sacrifice to have what my happiness is today. So everybody's not willing to make that sacrifice.
It's very true. It's very true. At that point, for you, was there a typical model of WNBA players in retirement, like of what they did next?
Well, first of all, you got to remember, I started broadcasting while I was playing.
Yeah.
So I worked for ESPN in 2005. So I covered college game. I did the tournaments. So I was doing broadcasting in the off season as well as like playing and training, year round. So for me, I already knew that I wanted to go into broadcasting. That's what I had been doing. But I think Cheryl Miller might be and Ann Myers. So Cheryl Miller, Ann Myers are probably the two women I think of first that I would say, out of LA that I knew that were both in broadcasting. So that seemed like a natural transition, I think. And I think that's what the younger people definitely see. I remember when Candace was like, "Oh, I would never go into broadcasting," and then what she do? She ended up TNT.
Yeah. She's absolutely crushing it.
So I think that it is the natural progression for us because we are so close to the game, because we know basketball is basketball, and it's like, "Oh, you want to pay me to talk about basketball?
Sure,
great, I'll be here.
I'm your girl.
I'm your girl." So it's so much fun. But the thing that really lit my fire, closest to playing, was not broadcasting.
Okay,
it's acting.
Oh, tell me more.
Yeah, I've been in several movies and on television doing cameos, but acting feels a lot like playing to me. Why? Because it's like this adrenaline that comes and you have to remember your lines and you're on, and it's like, and this other character. Oh, I love acting.
Really?
So yes, it's just an exchange with a person. So I used to go to acting classes.
Okay, I was going to ask, how did you get into this? And when did you start doing it?
7th grade.
Really?
Drama, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so you've been doing this for a while. So you kind of knew this was something you wanted to attempt post-playing. Did you do any acting while you're playing?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was on Sister. Okay. I was on Martin. I was
on... That's so fun.
Yeah, I was on everything. One-on-one. What else? I was on a lot of shows.
All right.
Then I did a little cameo in Love and Basketball.
Okay.
I did Think Like a Man.
All right.
With Kevin Hart.
Your IMDb stat.
Yeah.
All right.
I get residual checks every day.
Okay.
And then Uncle Drew, did you not see it?
No, I'm not a movie girl.
Kelley,
I
are you
know.
sure not? You got to watch me and Uncle Drew, promise.
All right, well, okay, I promise.
Okay.
But Broadway. We haven't got you on Broadway yet.
No, I haven't been on Broadway.
Next thing?
No.
No, why not? You sing every time you come in here.
Broadway?
Yeah.
Could I?
I think you could.
I don't know.
All right, another thing you got into post-playing was you became co-owner of the LA Sparks.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever think that would be a possibility while you were playing? Was that something you thought about?
No, but amazing opportunity came along and I jumped at it. I wish that I was still part owner of the LA Sparks because that would be amazing. But a new group came in and bought us out. So you cash a check, what do you say? But it was great. It was a great opportunity. I was the first ever player to become part owner, which was amazing. Always being the first.
Yeah. Trailblazer.
Yeah. And I hope to do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be great.
Would you be an owner of the Sparks, or do you want to go into a different sport or a different team?
I'm open.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Different. Soccer is a great sport to invest in.
Listen,
we need something in Southern.
You've been to 2 games? 1 game? 2 games? 1 game.
And I loved it.
As we start to add to that,
yes.
maybe NWSL owner.
Yeah, I'd love that.
Mm-hmm. That'd be cool.
That'd be great.
Also, you now do real estate.
Yes.
Talk to me about that.
So real estate, how I got into real estate really was when I got my second check from the WNBA. So I got a Nike contract like 1994, the day I finished my eligibility.
Okay.
That was the first time I got my check. So of course I had a place to live and a car. But then my uncles, who are accountants and own their own accountant firm in Los Angeles, I was like, okay, I'm making money now. What do I do? How do you keep it? How do you grow it? And so I was really lucky to have people in my corner that were financially literate in a way that helped me invest. And he was like, well, you should get property. So let's go look for some property. And I bought my first home. And then I bought a second home. And I think by having the properties, and then of course I had a car and things like that, but the main thing was to invest in these homes. The return that I got on those homes when I sold them was like exponentially like more than I could have made if I had invested in anything else. So of course I had stock and things like that. So I got set up financially in a way that was helpful to make my money grow and not just spending it on stuff.
Yeah.
And you know, from there I learned that once I met my husband, he also had properties. Once we got together, we were just a power couple. It's like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
So
real estate moguls.
Yeah, we ended up building a home in Dallas so we could go back and forth there. And after a while, we just sold everything we had. We moved to Florida. We bought some properties, Airbnb properties, or properties, and turned them into Airbnbs is probably the right thing to say. So we had 8 properties. And then what we did was get licensed.
Okay.
And once we got licensed, it was sort of the idea that, you know, most of our friends and people that we know are in the entertainment or athletes, and we can help them. We can help them really understand how to invest their money, how to get properties, what you need to know, how to get a second home somewhere. If you want to be interested in Airbnbs, obviously we're expert in that space.
Yeah.
And so it just really turned out to be an amazing decision that we've been able to help. I've helped some, without name dropping, we've helped some athletes buy a $20 million home, $10 million home, $4 million home. So we're in the luxury space.
You are,
obviously. Dang
girl.
Yeah, and it's been really good. I really enjoy helping other athletes and entertainers. And then one thing about being in the African American community, I realized that most of us are the first millionaires in our families. So how would you have financial literacy if you've never had finances to be literate about? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you don't really have that education. School doesn't teach you really how to manage money at all. And so we see a lot of times that athletes don't manage their money well. The first thing you think about is what you see, stuff, name brand stuff. And Not that I don't have any, but I didn't do it in that order.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I think this is great advice.
Yeah, I didn't do it in that order. I really passed on the diamonds and the rings and all of those things because I'm like property.
Yeah,
that's
Uncle's
important.
got you focused on the future.
Absolutely. And
It's
he
huge.
really managed me. And then it was like, I had an allowance, you know, and the allowance was, I could buy anything. So I used to buy like one purse a year. That was like my treat. But other than that, I didn't really splurge on a lot of things, and it really, really paid off. I'm so thankful too. So shout out to my Uncle Brainerd, Simpson and Simpson. So amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Of all the things that you've done post-playing, what's been your favorite?
Oh, well, you know, I love being a mom.
Well, okay.
I know why.
I'm saying.
Aside from my family.
Yes, 100%.
You know what, Kelley? I honestly I feel like I've never had a job. Because I do what I love. I do what I'm passionate about, right? So what do I do? What do I do?
You do list them.
I listen. So I'm in real estate.
Yep.
I love real estate. I love looking at the homes. I love the decor. I love helping people. So that's like check. I'm in broadcast. Like whether I'm talking sports or any sports or being in these settings, like I love this. This is fun. We're interacting. We're talking about stuff that I would be watching anyway.
Exactly.
That I'm
you'd
so
have an
curious
opinion
about.
on, and you'd be talking about anyway.
Exactly. I'm sitting at home fussing at the television, and then they say, "Hey, come to New York and talk about it."
Yeah. Okay.
Perfect. So I love that. The third job that I have is I'm a public speaker. So I travel around the country speaking, and I feel like that's my spiritual gift, is my ability to give back, to inspire a lot of corporations. And I do that well because being a leader in our, you know, the skills that we have from our sports are the exact same skills that make leaders in businesses successful. And so being able to travel around the world to talk and inspire is probably what I get paid the most to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I really love that.
Yeah, that's special. I mean, like I said, you're a busy bee. You're always on the go. It's incredible. But I love that you don't feel like you've ever had a job.
Yeah.
Because that's how I feel after playing soccer. And while I was playing soccer, I never thought of it as a job. I was like, I am so lucky that I get to wake up and do what I love every single day.
Yes.
My dad told me early on in life, he was like, his definition of hell on earth would be going to a job every day that you hate.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
He kind of, instilled in me and my siblings, find something that you're passionate about, because that's, you gotta wake up and do it every day. And I feel very lucky. And so that's how I'm kind of approaching this next stage of life, is figure out what I'm passionate about, because then you're never going to feel like you work.
Well, let me give you some advice.
Let's hear it.
I love to write down, if there were no barriers to whatever it is you want to do, you should write down what you want to do. Whatever it is
your ideal
that you're passionate about, that you want to do. And that could be a variety that you could be run your own, I don't know, apparel company or whatever the things is that you feel. And sometimes for people that is, they just wish they could be home. Yeah. Like financially stable enough to stay home. But whatever that is, write that down and then work backwards. Mm-hmm. So that's what I do. I just work backwards from whatever it is I want to do, what goals I want to achieve. I'm writing those down, and then I'm like, okay, how do I get there? How do I become that? Yes, it takes some education. You got to be competent about whatever it is you want to do. Even this, you're competent about it. I think the second thing is some of it is hard work. Like there's no shortcuts to it, but you're not afraid of hard work. That's how you got to where you are. Yeah. I think the O is for like optimism. You have to stay optimistic and positive, which you are. The I is for integrity. Because no matter what you do, be a woman of your word. You have to be careful. We're in a space of social media, and what you say and the integrity of what you say is really important. Yes. The other C is be courageous. Like, don't be afraid to try new things, right? The worst thing that can happen, you fail, you lose. We're used to that.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm like,
been there, done that.
Go for it, right? Yeah. And then the E is for execution. Okay. I spelled the word choice out to you because we have a choice every day. What am I spelling here? Okay. You spelled choice. Yeah. Because we have a choice every day, 24 hours to do what you want to do. And I say, do what you're passionate about. You'll never feel like you work, just like we did playing.
I love that. Yeah. Choose. You have a choice.
Choice, yeah.
I know, but you get to choose how you want to spend your 24 hours every day.
Yeah. Because you're so young. Like, we are old in our sport, but we're so young. So it's like, you have a whole life ahead of you.
I know my dad was also saying, like, you're at the beginning. Yeah. This is
phase 2.
Yeah. The day after I told Gotham, I unfortunately can't play anymore, Cameron texted me and she was like, this is the first day of the rest of your life.
Yeah.
You know, which is really cool.
We should have named it Kelley 2.0. Let's go. Phase 2.
But you know what's interesting? Obviously, it's very acute in my mind right now that I'm at the beginning of a next chapter.
Yeah.
And how I thought, you know, I woke up the day after I told Gotham, it's like, this is the first day of the rest of my life. But I was thinking about it, I was like, every day is the first day of the rest of your life. So really, it doesn't matter if you're changing a career or you're retiring and figuring out what you're going to do next, but it's like you have a choice every single day how you wake up and what you do and where you want to go.
Absolutely.
And you can change that at any point.
Yes.
Because truly, every day is the first day of the rest of your life.
And you know what? I think you'll be happy because you're thinking about it in a way where right now you feel like you have to do something. Like,
yeah.
And that's us too, because we're competitive. That's all we know.
Yeah.
Which is why you're going to be successful at whatever you do, because you know the work ethic that it takes to be successful. But don't panic.
Okay.
It's so much fun. I would say enjoy the space, the gap before you really put yourself to have a schedule that's just like bananas, because you're like, okay, now I got to go be successful. Yeah. Well, because, you know, I took space though.
No,
I mean,
true.
I had kids, so I took space because I love picking my kids up from school. And I'm kind of, you know, I'm not a Martha Stewart, but I'm a homebody too. I like the, you know, lunch is packed and it's ready. I love all of those things. I probably babied my kids too much, but I really love each phase because I know that, you know, my daughter's going to go off to college, where I'm about to, you know, my son's 14. So I'm at the other space where it's like, in a minute, my husband and I are like, what are we doing?
Exactly, exactly. Freedom. We got a lot of free time.
Yeah. So
No,
every space is like, it's amazing. So enjoy it. You should definitely take a vacation.
Oh, I plan on it.
Yeah.
A couple. You've given me a lot of good perspective, good advice. Any last words for me as I go into, you know, this last bit of my, not playing career, but closing out my playing career and going into my next chapter? You got anything for me?
I say try to be in the moment of wherever you are, whether it's the retirement party, the retirement game. Since there's so much film and video now, you won't have a problem probably recalling it the way that I do.
True.
But I think to just be in the moment, that would be my biggest advice. And then don't feel like it's the, you know, it's the end. It is a chapter. You made your mark on the game in such an outstanding way. You're a role model for so many young girls and boys out there. And that's the beauty of it. I think that I always feel like, what did you do with your time? Like your time was well spent, and you should feel really good about that. And then the future is sort of the idea that you're going to have the opportunity to open doors for others coming behind you. And what does that look like? So you're still a role model moving forward, because someone's going to say, oh my God, Kelley O'Hara has her own show, or I love her. I love her personality. You're still inspiring, and just know that there's no wrong to what you do. You can definitely invest in some wrong things and make some wrong moves. I have failed in a tech company. Like, there are some moves of failure where you go, that probably wasn't that good of an idea. You know what I mean?
For sure.
That happens, but just keep going. Keep being you. Everybody else is taken.
Yeah,
you're going to be amazing. I'm so happy for you, though.
Aw, thanks, buddy.
And you look good.
Thank you. So do you.
Yeah.
So do you. Well, listen.
I look tired.
Truly, truly, it has been such a joy working with you, but more importantly, getting to know you and just like seeing, you know, learning more about everything that you accomplish on the court and now off of it, and just how you carry yourself and how you approach life. It is such an inspiration. So thank you for taking the time, thank you for being my friend. And I will be leaning on you a lot in this next year.
Yeah.
So appreciate you.
And don't be afraid to cry. You cry a little bit.
Oh, you know I will. You know I will.
It's emotional, but it's like,
Love
moving on. That was awesome.
Appreciate you.